Right now I want to show you how to install the RAM-B-342 motorcycle stem hole mount. What we're going to do is end up putting this motorcycle mount right here into the center hole that connects through the middle of the plate that connects to the forks or the stems of the motorcycle's front wheel. So let's just zoom in on that hole. And what we're going to do is take this rubber plug here, which comes with the mount, and we're going to drop it into this hole just so we can give it a twist and just mark where that hole meets the rubber, so where that wedge is. And you can see there it leaves a little bit of a line on my wedge there. You can just see that. And what we're going to do is cut it across that point there, and then what we're going to do is come down an inch, and then we're going to assemble it all together to make the 342. So let's take this piece and cut it up and see what we can do with it. So as you can see, I've now cut my wedge right through there where I marked it, and I've also taken a little bit of rubber off the bottom. I need this piece to be about 1 inch long, the piece I'm going to use. Any longer and then the bolt that comes through it won't actually meet with the nut from the bottom. So I need to make sure it's just long enough. You can check it as you go and always cut a little bit more off if you need to. So let's get rid of the excess now. And what we need to do is find some pieces to go on the top and bottom. So included with this mount is a set of washers, and what you want to do is pick a washer that matches up to the top part of your wedge best by covering it to the best of its ability without going too much over. So I've picked this second size washer for this one, and that fits best on that. And now on the other end I want to put some of these teeth washers, which is a series like this. These are plastic washers. You can see they've just got grooves in there, or teeth. And then on the other side they've got a hole for the nut to be held in place. So what I need to do is work out on these which size fits the bottom of my wedge. And I've already found out that the smallest one actually goes onto this the best. So there I have my little wedge piece. Now all I need to do is drop the mount with ball plus the bolt. So I've actually put that through there. Now you go through the stainless steel washer first, then through the teeth. Now you can see there, if I didn't cut enough off of this wedge, I wouldn't be able to get enough thread through there to put my nut on the end. So now I just need to do is grab my nut and drop that in there without dropping it, and then I can just start tightening this up with the right tool, and then I can drop that in here. So let's tighten this up a little bit. We don't make it too tight, just tight enough to get the thread started, and then we can drop it in here and really tighten it up. So let's do that. There we go. As I mentioned, I've now tightened this up just enough so it all holds together on its own, and I can now drop it into the hole here where it fits on my bike. I can push it down because the wedge I cut is smaller than the hole. It's a bit firm, but that's good because I want this. What's going to happen is this is all going to squash together, and it's going to make this wedge here expand into my hole. So I'll push that down there and just get it in nice and flush with my bike. Now all I need to do is just tighten this center hole up until I can feel it really locking in there. So let's give this a few turns. It's going to take a little while because the teeth have to grip and everything else, but once we get it in there we can just make sure it's manipulated right. I've got the ball at the front here. You might want to put it at the back, depends on where you want to set this up. In this case I've got the key hole there, so it makes it a bit tough. So let's wind this up and see where we go. So we keep tightening this up until we can get this as firm as we can, because all we're doing is squashing that rubber up, so we can keep going until it's nice and tight. And there we have it. Now we've got a ball in place here, locked into the center, where I can now put a mounting system onto that ball. So it's a great way to put a nice sturdy ball into the center of your bike there, but still low profile and out of the way when you've removed your mount. So let's add some things to this and see what it looks like once we've put everything on this base. So let's click the Garmin Zumo 600 series onto this base right here. You can see there I've got a few options on how I want to display it. I've come off to the side here. You can see the cable for the Zumo comes off there. So my ball hole here is here for the mount, and then I've got the arm coming off there. So this is the larger arm, and the beauty of these mounts is you can sort of really manipulate where you want to put it, maneuver this around so you can really offset this however you want. So that's the larger arm, but more often than not, most bike riders prefer the shorter arm. So let's put this shorter arm on here, which you can see is a lot more low profile than the larger one, but it doesn't give you as much reach. But still, relative to what you're doing there. You can get it in there no problem, and now you've got your Zumo mounted in there on the RAM mount. This is actually the RAM mount that comes with the Zumo. The base isn't, but it's just an option. And you can see there's a plate mounted on the back of the Garmin cradle for the Zumo. Another option is the Nuvi 500 series. Again, the Nuvi 500 cradle I have here. Again with a diamond ball on the back. Again, same thing. Just clips on there and holds exactly the same way as the Zumo does on that piece. So now you've got a few options there. The small arm really does look a lot better and lower profile. You can even get your iPhone in here if you want. And the beauty of this, let's do this one up and drop an iPhone in. The beauty of this is put the iPhone in there, and you can actually, just with a twist of the knob, you can turn this around and see any sort of landscape or portrait view of this really quick and easy. And you can even shoot it off to the side, as I said before. So this can go out that way, or the arm can come up the top. And as I was showing here, as I take these off, you can see how easy it is to, say you pull off somewhere, you can just pull the whole mount off, just leaving the ball behind, so you don't have to worry about security. One of the great devices as well, people do a lot on their bikes, is sticking a little camera. I've just put a thread on the bottom of this camera with the ball. So this is the RAM-B-342U. There's also 236, depending on what size thread you have on your camera. And then you can just set that off there, and now you've got a stable little position for your camera. This is a small camera. You can go bigger if you want. It'll all hold very well. And if you want to get that camera higher up over the front of your bike, you just get a longer arm. That's your choice. And finally, I've just got a dyno jet display here for taking readings on the bike. You can get a really good position for that too, to get some display information. And you can actually say this was a fast pass or something like that, for the toll roads. You can put a magnetic base on there and just hold it that way, or put it out of the way in low profile, whatever you want to do. So let's say that was another device, and you can just pop this off and take it off whenever you need to. So we've just actually, what we've done with this is taken a plate and drilled holes into the plate to match the holes on the back of the display here. So you can pretty much do whatever you want with these RAM parts. Once you get a plate and a hole pattern you need to match up to, hook it all up and you're good to go. So this is even a great spot for a radar detector if that's how far you want to go. So there you have it, the RAM-B-342 base connected to the center of your stem hole here. And once it's in place, it's locked in there, and to remove it, you just undo the thread here and she'll pop straight back out, back to your original design and style your bike was, without doing any damage.